Hello and good day. We are at the Zimbabwe Agricultural Show 2025 edition. Now this year's edition is running under the theme Building Bridges, and that's just part of the theme. One of the organizations that are exhibiting at this year's Agricultural Show is Care Zimbabwe, and joining me today is actually Takunda Project Director Delilah Takawira, who is directing the Takunda projects that are under the Care Initiative or Care Program. Delilah, thank you so much for sitting down and talking to me today.
Thank you, Faye.
Now, I was just touring your stand and seeing some of the products that are on display and the participants that are at your stand. What is Care Zimbabwe about, and what is the Takunda project in particular about?
Okay, thanks, Faith. So, Care in Zimbabwe is a development and humanitarian organization. We started doing work in Zimbabwe in 1992. So we spearhead development initiatives in many different areas in Zimbabwe. We work mostly in rural communities, but we also do work in urban communities as well. So we spearhead development. We also help people deal or manage challenges like humanitarian situations. Our work is very much pro women and girls, but we also work with all people, men, women, children, youths. Those are young people, but we do have a particular interest in women and girls empowerment.
Now, one of the questions that we might have is, why are you exhibiting at the Zimbabwe Agricultural Show this year, and what is the end goal after this exhibition?
Okay, so participation at the Zimbabwe Agricultural Show, we see it as an opportunity to showcase the work that we're doing. I mean, so people see where some of the support that we receive from different donors is going. We also see it as an opportunity of making our participants. You must have seen some of the people that are actually manning our stands, are participants that have been participating in our various initiatives in the country. But we also see it as an opportunity to also meet up and link up with various stakeholders that we work with, various partners, because more and more now we are trying to build bridges, I guess, as the theme for this year is all about. So linking the work that we do, collaborating with private sector, collaborating with civil society. Obviously we work very closely with the government. So we see this as an opportunity actually to meet the wide variety of stakeholders that we can partner with to bring development, build resilience, and support communities.
Now, from what we have seen at the stands, Takunda project seems like a very big project. What are some of the impact or changes you've seen in the areas or communities that these projects are started in?
Okay, so I'll just start by talking a little bit about Takunda as a project. So Takunda is just one of the many projects that Care in Zimbabwe is managing. So as you said right from the beginning, Care is the lead implementing partner. We work with several other local and international organizations, the likes of Nutrition Action Zimbabwe, ICRISAT, Bulawayo Project Center. We also work with Environment Africa. We work with FHI 360 internationally. We also used to work with International Youth Foundation, and we also work with FANAPAN. So these are all the different partners that make up the Takunda Implementation Consortium under the leadership of Care. It's an $80.3 million over a period of 7 years. We started in 2020. And initially we were meant to run until 2025, and then we got an extension to go until 2027. So in simple terms, Takunda aims to improve production, build livelihoods, build resilience, that is capacity to withstand the various shocks that people face within the communities that we work in, and also increase incomes, because people need money to do whatever people need to do to get out of the challenges that they have. People need money. So one of our major objectives is to increase household incomes. We work in 4 districts in Zimbabwe. We are in Mutare and Buhera in Manicaland. Then we are in Chivi and Zaka in Masvingo province. Yeah, so in those areas we work with men, women, youths, We also try to address things like improving diets for children under the age of 5 years. So in a nutshell, that's what Takunda as a project does. So now coming to your question, what are the changes that we've seen? We've actually been seeing quite interesting and significant progress amongst the participants that we're working with, who are people that were classified when we started as people that were vulnerable to repeated shocks. We've seen most of our participants actually being able to increase incomes through various activities, be it agriculture activities, be it through small businesses or what we call income generating activities. So we've actually been seeing an upward trend in terms of average household income since we started. And this was also witnessed even during the El Nino induced drought season. So we did see now people being able to not just rely on one source of income or livelihood source, but also being able to diverse livelihood sources. You know, most of our rural communities rely on agriculture for their income, but what we're working with these participants to do is to diversify their livelihood sources. So yes, they can be doing agriculture, but if they're doing agriculture, it's not just cropping, it's also small livestock production or large stock production, but it's also starting income generating activities, people coming together, put their money together through the village savings and loan associations, and then they borrow that money and use it to start small income generating activities, which is really contributing to build their resilience but also increasing their household income. On the youth side, we also work with youths to build agency, to give them survival skills, to help them understand actually that there's a lot that they can do to be able to get out of the situation they are in, and also not to engage in negative behaviors that we see some youths engaged in. So we've got life skills building that we do with youths. We also are sending youths to technical vocational education and training centers. We work with a number of TVET centers in the districts that we work, the likes of Magamba, Marange, TVET colleges. And what we also do is we just don't end by sending these youths to TVET colleges, but afterwards we also support them to start businesses in the various vocations they would have been trained in. And we are seeing many of them actually engaging in these vocations as income generating activities and making meaningful progress with their lives. And then on the nutrition front, we also support with building awareness, training on the importance of a healthy, diversified diets, which is what children need to be eating. We actually talk of a 4-star diet, so eating food from different food groups, which has been shown to be important to improve the nutrition status and well-being of children and also women of childbearing age. But another good thing that we've also been doing in line with the government initiative of ensuring a middle-class economy by 2030, we've been establishing what we call village business units. And for us, our thrust has been towards improving production through establishing 1 hectare garden plots that are equipped with either solar-powered boreholes for irrigation, or in some areas we've constructed weirs, like small dams, where water is actually being channeled to water various crops. So we established more than 100 gardens across the communities where we're working in, and these are actually starting to function as real village business units where we're seeing people coming to produce, but people are also linking livestock production, their village savings and loan associations, and starting various income generating activities. So these are some of the results that we're seeing from the work that we're doing.
Now, Delilah, from the outside looking in, one might think that it's just kids that's coming in with their ideas. Have the local communities been involved in these projects? And if they are involved in the designing and implementation, how helpful has this been?
Oh yeah, that's a very important aspect that you touch on, Faith. So right from the beginning when we started Takunda, we did not go with the project design and then we just said this is what we have and this is what is going to happen. No, we started with what we called a community engagement process. We called it community visioning then, where we gathered participants together and we asked, what are your major challenges, problems here? What is it that would bring you out of the situation you currently find yourselves in into a situation where you've got meaningful livelihoods, improved incomes. So communities came together, they sat, they discussed, and they came up with lists of what their priority development initiatives were. And we called these community action plans. So these CAPs were put together by various communities, like at the ward level. So they were able to rank. And then we then came in and said, okay, out of what you've included in your community action plans, as Takunda, we can support with this. But it didn't end there. We actually let them own these community action plans so they can actually engage other stakeholders, be it donor programs like Takunda, care-led Takunda, or other private sector engagements to also fund some of the things that they do not have. So for example, Faith, I'll tell you that on those community action plans in most of the areas, the need for water came at the top. So this was both clean, safe drinking water, but also water for agriculture production and also livestock consumption. So that's why you heard me talk about these village business units where we have gardens and we've got water, but we've also done a lot of bore rehabilitation, repairing bores that were not working, just to try and address those needs. But even the work that we're doing with youths also came out of some of those community action plans, which is what communities had said that they need to be able to see development happening in their communities.
Now, from the conversation we've had and when we did start, you said that the initiative is supposed to end in 2027. What measures then are in place to ensure that even after the year 2027, these projects continue benefiting the people in the communities that they're based in?
Right. That's a good point you're raising and a very good question. So right from the beginning, when we started Takunda, so a lot of these projects, they start talking about sustainability or exit strategy, like in the final year of the project. But as Takunda, we actually started with we call it our sustainability strategy right from the beginning. So defining during the 7 years we're going to be in place, at what stage are we going to start pulling back and allowing communities to run some of the work that we've been doing on their own. So in that respect, in all the work that we've been doing, be it championing agriculture, be it championing income generating activities and small businesses, we are working with people that we've identified in communities that we call local service providers. So those local service providers, we've been capacitating them with skills to be able to support communities. So what we've been doing is we've been capacitating them, hand-holding them and working with them. And now as the project is continuing, we are at a stage where we are slowly pulling back and allowing those local service providers to lead activities within communities, and then with our support so they can still come back to us. But one of the things the issues that we saw that are important in sustaining the work of these local service providers is ensuring that they are motivated. So we've been doing a lot of assessments to try and understand what would motivate them to continue doing this work. So we are trying some models like fee-for-service models. We are seeing the need to inculcate the behavior of people paying for a service that works, because we understand that volunteerism does not exist. People may call themselves a volunteer, but usually there's something that they're looking at benefiting. So we've been trying different models and trying to sensitize our communities that, look, if you're working, say, with a lead mother who's helping your child, advise you about what a child eats, would you be willing to give them maybe something to thank them for the service that they've been doing, So just trying out those models and seeing if they work. We've also been linking these local service providers with other already existing structures like government structures, but also linking them with private sector so they can actually continue interacting and communicating even after Takunda. So these are some of the things that we've been trying to do to try and build the sustainability of whatever work we're doing now, so that even without us, it's going to continue to work. And it's interesting to see that a lot of some private sector companies that are exhibiting, be it agriculture input supplier companies, now we have companies like Seedco going directly to work with some agro dealers that we're working with who are just community members to sell some of their inputs at a commission. This is something that comes from the work that we've been doing as a way of ensuring sustainability of the work that we started.
Now, we've talked a lot about the communities and how it's benefiting the communities. I'd like us to now just branch out a bit to talk about how this project is aligning with national priorities or global development goals in terms of food security as well as climate resilience.
Oh yes, that's very true. So everything that Care Zimbabwe does is very much aligned to the government of Zimbabwe national priorities and strategies. So like now we are aligned to the National Development Strategy 1, and like I mentioned, a lot of the work that we're doing, like establishing the village business units, is very much aligned to the government initiative of trying to ensure that we reach a middle income economy by 2030. And as you've rightfully mentioned, a lot of the work that we're doing is also in line with climate initiatives. So everything that we do is very much aligned to the work that the government is doing, and we see ourselves as actually contributing and supporting that vision.
So thank you so much for sitting down and having this talk with us. So it's Delilah Takawira talking about Care International as the Takunda-led Care International project. Now, if you're at the Zimbabwe Agriculture Show, do make sure to pass by their stand to get more information and understand what they're doing as Takunda initiative in the communities that they're operating in.